CM Punk's wrestling journey began in backyard wrestling federations, where he earned his CM initials as part of the tag team, Chick Magnets. Unlike his friends who saw wrestling as fun, Punk genuinely wanted to become a pro wrestler. Training under Ace Steel at the Steel Dominion Wrestling School in Chicago, Punk formed lifelong friendships with future wrestlers like Colt Cabana. IWA Mid-South became Punk's home base, where he competed against stars like AJ Styles and Eddie Guerrero. His epic feud with Chris Hero established both men as independent wrestling's premier talents, but it was Ring of Honor that provided Punk's biggest platform as part of the Second City Saints with Ace Steel and Colt Cabana. His trilogy with Samoa Joe earned wrestling's first North American 5-star rating in 7 years from Dave Meltzer. The Summer of Punk storyline, where he threatened to take the ROH World Championship to WWE, perfectly blended reality with fiction and became one of the most talked about angles in the wrestling world. CM Punk had established himself as one of the top names outside WWE, and the Second City Saint was about to take on the biggest challenge of his life. Punk's WWE debut came in ECW's revamped version, where his straight-edge lifestyle and Muay Thai-inspired presentation immediately set him apart. His debut match against Justin Credible at the Hammerstein Ballroom established him as a legit threat, while his 6-month undefeated streak built credibility. Punk's rivalry with Mike Knox over Kelly's affections provided his first major storyline. However, it was the ECW Championship tournament that became Punk's breakthrough moment. After Bobby Lashley's departure stripped the title, Punk reached the tournament finals before losing to Johnny Nitro in a last-minute substitution for Chris Benoit. Punk finally captured the ECW Championship from John Morrison in late 2007 and began a 143-day reign that featured successful defenses against the likes of Elijah Burke, Big Daddy V, and The Miz. His Money in the Bank victory at WrestleMania 24 set up his main roster breakthrough. Punk's cash-in on Edge after Batista's attack made him World Heavyweight Champion, though his short reign ended when Randy Orton's punt kick forced him to forfeit the title. Punk would go on to win the briefcase for the second consecutive year at WrestleMania 25, but this time, the story was a lot different. Punk's second world title reign saw him cash in on fan-favorite Jeff Hardy, turn heel for the first time on the main roster, and amplify the traits of his real-life straight-edge persona. CM Punk's transformation into a cult leader began in late 2009 when he converted Luke Gallows from Festus into his straight-edge disciple. This character shift turned Punk's real-life beliefs into a sinister gimmick where he preached about the evils of drugs and alcohol to WWE audiences. He would target audience members, force them to take a pledge of allegiance, and shave their heads as symbols of rebirth. Serena joined as his most devoted follower, creating the core Straight Edge Society alongside Gallows and later Joey Mercury. Rey Mysterio became Punk's primary target, leading to a WrestleMania stipulation where Mysterio would join the society if he lost. Though Punk lost that match, he won their Extreme Rules rematch with Mercury's interference. The trilogy concluded at Over the Limit, where Punk lost and suffered the ultimate humiliation of having his head shaved bald. Following his hair loss, Punk started wearing a black mask and claimed that he remained pure, unlike his followers. The faction crumbled after Big Show unmasked Punk on SmackDown, leading to a SummerSlam handicap match where Punk abandoned Gallows and Serena. But just because Punk had left one faction didn't mean his time as leader had come to an end. In fact, Punk's influence over the wrestling world was just getting started. After recovering from a hip injury and spending months on the commentary table, Punk shocked everyone by attacking John Cena and revealing himself as the new leader of the Nexus. Punk transformed the group into the new Nexus and forced each member to prove their worth or face elimination. The group's mission became revenge against Randy Orton for ending Punk's first World Heavyweight Championship reign back in 2008. Orton's systematic destruction of each Nexus member through punt kicks left Punk isolated and vulnerable. Their WrestleMania 27 encounter saw Punk suffer a clean loss, followed by another defeat in their Last Man Standing rematch at Extreme Rules. The new Nexus quietly dissolved as Punk moved toward his biggest storyline that would turn the wrestling world upside down. CM Punk's career-defining moment arrived on June 27, 2011, when he delivered the infamous Pipebomb promo on Raw. Sitting cross-legged at the top of the entrance ramp and wearing a Stone Cold t-shirt, Punk aired his grievances about WWE's corporate structure, name-dropped forbidden promotions like Ring of Honor and New Japan, and fired shots at Vince McMahon, Triple H, and other WWE figures. The worked-shoot promo blurred reality and fiction in ways WWE hadn't seen since the Monday Night Wars. The storyline's genius lay in its authenticity. Punk's contract genuinely expired on the night of Money in the Bank in Chicago. His threat to leave WWE with their championship felt real because it was based on real-life situations. Money in the Bank 2011 became a cultural phenomenon. Punk's hometown crowd created an electric atmosphere as he defeated Cena for the WWE Championship, kissed Vince goodbye, and walked through the crowd like a conquering hero. Punk's Comic-Con appearance and subsequent return to Raw created must-see television that elevated WWE's mainstream profile. The storyline lost steam when Triple H replaced Vince McMahon as Punk's corporate antagonist, but the foundation was set. Punk had transformed from mid-card player to legit main event star through the power of authentic emotion and mic work that connected with frustrated fans worldwide. Punk would go on to feud against Alberto Del Rio and Chris Jericho before Raw 1000 gave us another shocking turn in the story of CM Punk. After The Rock announced his Royal Rumble title shot, Punk attacked him following his title defense against John Cena and officially embraced his dark side. CM Punk's heel turn on the 1000th episode of Raw transformed him from anti-establishment hero to egotistical champion obsessed with respect. Paul Heyman's return as his manager provided the perfect mouthpiece for Punk's newfound arrogance. Punk's 434-day WWE Championship reign became defined by his best-in-the-world proclamations and cowardly antics. His trilogy with John Cena featured classics. His defenses against Ryback were wild. The champion's paranoid, entitled personality reached peak form during his Survivor Series defense against Cena and Ryback, where the Shield's debut attack secured his victory. But the reign's highlight came through Punk's character work rather than just match quality. His confrontations with legends like Mick Foley, Jerry Lawler, and Bret Hart showcased his heel psychology, while his partnership with Heyman created must-see television every week. Punk's historic milestone of surpassing John Cena's 380-day reign made him the longest WWE champion in 25 years. However, the dream run came to a screeching halt when The Rock ended Punk's reign at the Royal Rumble after 434 days. But despite losing his rematch at Elimination Chamber, Punk's championship run had established him as WWE's most compelling character and proven his main event credibility beyond any doubt. CM Punk's final WWE chapter began with his controversial Undertaker feud heading into WrestleMania 29. After defeating Big Show, Randy Orton, and Sheamus in a fatal four-way to earn the match, Punk engaged in a storyline involving the recently deceased Paul Bearer. His theft of Bearer's urn and general disrespect toward the dead man generated immense heat, though Punk lost clean to Taker at WrestleMania. After the Mania loss, speculations ran rampant about what was next for CM Punk, but nobody could have predicted what would go down at Royal Rumble 2014. Following a 2-month injury hiatus, Punk returned at Payback 2013 with a new look to defeat Chris Jericho, before Paul Heyman's betrayal initiated his final major storyline. Brock Lesnar's attack set up their SummerSlam encounter, where Punk suffered another defeat despite an amazing performance. The Wyatt family program alongside Daniel Bryan briefly revitalized Punk's character, but his elimination by Kane at Royal Rumble 2014 marked his final WWE appearance. Behind the scenes, Punk wrestled through serious injuries, broken ribs, and multiple concussions while growing increasingly frustrated with his creative direction. Punk's walkout the night after Royal Rumble shocked the wrestling world. His podcast with Colt Cabana revealed the extent of his physical and mental exhaustion. WWE fired him on his wedding day in June 2014, ending one of wrestling's most turbulent relationships and beginning Punk's 7-year retirement from the industry. For 7 years, Punk stayed away from the squared circle. Wrestling fans had given up all hope of ever seeing the best in the world return to the ring. But in 2021, the unthinkable happened. CM Punk's AEW debut at the First Dance in Chicago created one of wrestling's most electric moments in decades. His 7-year absence had only amplified the hunger for his return, and AEW delivered the perfect homecoming. Punk's initial AEW run showcased a more mature performer. His victory over Darby Allin at All Out 2021 proved he hadn't lost a step, while subsequent feuds with Eddie Kingston and MJF showed his ability to tell personal stories and back them up with solid in-ring work. The MJF program particularly highlighted Punk's improved character work, culminating in their dog collar match. His AEW World Championship victory over Hangman Page at Double or Nothing seemed to validate both Punk's return and AEW's investment. However, a foot injury forced him into hiatus just days later, creating the interim championship situation that would later cause problems. Jon Moxley's victory as interim champion set up the eventual unification match that Moxley won quickly, beginning Punk's second title chase. However, everything went downhill after the all-out media scrum. The all-out 2022 media scrum became wrestling's most infamous press conference. After regaining the AEW World Championship from Moxley, Punk used the platform to air grievances against the Elite and address rumors about Colt Cabana. His accusations that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks spread stories about him attempting to get Cabana fired created backstage chaos that led to both parties getting suspended. Punk's 9-month suspension following the backstage fight with the Elite damaged his AEW reputation beyond repair. His return on Collision in June 2023 attempted a fresh start, but tensions remained. The Jack Perry incident at All In 2023 proved to be the final straw. Tony Khan's subsequent firing of Punk after the All In altercation with Jack Perry ended one of wrestling's most anticipated returns in catastrophic failure. Punk's AEW tenure proved that Punk's ego could often overshadow his talent. His 2 AEW World Championship reigns lasted a combined 163 days, but his real legacy in AEW became the chaos he created rather than the matches he delivered. The fans were disappointed, but just a few months later, CM Punk would shock the wrestling world once again. CM Punk's surprise return at Survivor Series in Chicago created another iconic moment that had the entire wrestling world buzzing. WWE strategically brought him back in his hometown, generating one of the loudest pops in history and immediately positioning him as a top star on Raw. Punk's first major program targeted the Royal Rumble match, where he entered at number 27 and lasted until the final 2 before Cody Rhodes eliminated him. Punk's performance during the match was impressive, but a torn triceps injury during the match derailed his WrestleMania plans. This injury forced WWE to cancel his anticipated match against Seth Rollins and left fans frustrated. Drew McIntyre capitalized on Punk's injury by mocking his rehabilitation and launched their heated rivalry that became 2024's best storyline. Punk's interference cost McIntyre multiple championship opportunities and made the feud deeply personal. Their trilogy of matches proved Punk's main event credibility remained intact. McIntyre won their SummerSlam encounter with Seth Rollins as special guest referee, but Punk gained revenge in their Bash in Berlin strap match. The Hell in a Cell conclusion at Bad Blood provided a definitive finish that earned massive praise from both fans and critics. Punk's integration into the Bloodline storyline at Survivor Series showcased WWE's faith in him. Paul Heyman's return alongside Punk added another layer to their relationship. The Netflix era brought Punk back to Raw for his first match on the Red brand in 11 years, defeating Seth Rollins in the premiere episode. The WrestleMania 41 triple threat main event against Rollins and Reigns represents Punk's full circle moment, finally achieving his dream of headlining wrestling's biggest show. Paul Heyman's shocking betrayal to align with Seth Rollins created new storyline possibilities, while Punk's loss maintained his chase for his ultimate moment of redemption in WWE. From Chicago's independent scene to Ring of Honor's 5-star classics, from the straight-edge savior to WWE's longest modern champion, Punk consistently evolved while maintaining his authentic voice. His 434-day WWE Championship reign and Pipebomb promo changed wrestling forever. CM Punk's legacy isn't just championships or 5-star matches, it's proving that being yourself, flaws included, resonates more than any manufactured character ever could.